Hi, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard, Vernon, and Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger or Eagle. Now, Auburn faces LSU this week in a very pivotal matchup for a lot of reasons. I don't know if it will have any type of conference championship implications at this point. I really don't know, because I don't really know how this thing is set up as far as how that diagram is supposed to take place. But yet and still, Auburn played Ole Miss last week, winning that game 35-28. A lot of controversial stuff happened. And guess who is still talking about that game? Our favorite, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin actually spoke to the SEC officials today, and he said he wished that he could say what was told to him, which means that he's trying to kind of make it seem like there was maybe some sketchiness as far as that particular play goes. But I just think Lane Kiffin's statement, when you think about the totality of the circumstance, and maybe he doesn't even realize this, but his statements and his continual sort of whining about this play really shows a lack of coaching accountability. And a lot of you guys, I know, will absolutely agree with me, especially some of you adamant fans that are bent on media propaganda, that Auburn's last couple of victories have been helped along by the referees. But what a lot of you guys don't do is you don't take into account the coach's accountability even after such a play. And another thing, if you really want to talk about a play that was obvious, a play that was a total game changer, a play that was absolutely unnecessary as far as a penalty being thrown in that play, that was the holding call on Smoke Monday on that 100-yard run back by Tank Bigsby. That was a play that really Auburn really should still be complaining about. But of course, you're not going to complain about that after a win. Likewise, Lane Kiffin. Auburn in a questionable situation with a kickoff. It appeared in some angles that Shaun Shivers touched the football. Other angles, it was very questionable. Even still, if you look at the whole totality of the play, there has to be a situation where the play totally runs its course, there's a recovery, and then the whistle is blown. Now, I believe that not Tank Bigsby, but Shaun Shivers, I think he knew that he touched the ball, because he started to retreat back to the football. And Shaun Shivers is one of the fastest people in the world. And you saw him run towards the football. And when the whistle was blown, he stopped, because the play was blown dead. And he was probably thinking, phew, I dodged one then. Because in a roundabout way, he probably did. But the referees blew the whistle dead, probably not knowing that the possibility of him touching the football and letting the play its course. I think because of this play, because of the spike backwards by Bo Nix, I think officiating needs to let the play its course, then blow the whistle, and then you can have a totality of circumstance, kind of like in court, to where you have all the evidence given. You have the potential touch, you have the recovery, you have the whistle blown. You can rule it whether it's a safety or a touchdown or whatever it is. I think the referees have to let the plays play its course. Blowing the play dead, it doesn't give every entity involved an opportunity to do what they would do in the normal course of play. Because you look at the spike ball, for example, spike ball backwards example. For one, it's such an odd, bizarre play. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback spike the ball backwards. But at the same time, I don't think I've ever seen a muff snap, a fumble snap when you're trying to spike the ball. So in a panic, Bo Nix fumbled the snap. Then he tried to spike it as soon as he got it. And it turns out that it was either at best intentional grounding or at worst a fumble. Now, we saw clear as day that it was a fumble. However, the referees blow the play dead, and you can't get a realistic course of action when you blow the play dead. Nobody genuinely runs towards the ball when the play is blown dead. But if the play continues its course, I think the referees have to let the plays continue through the whole course, fumble recovered, everything involved, then blow the whistle. That's the moral of the story here. And I think that's something that could come into play after the season. Don't just blow the play dead without allowing the totality of circumstance to take place. Because these kids see this stuff. They saw, Arkansas actually saw the fact that Bo Nix spiked the ball backwards. That's why they retreated to the ball. Bo Nix might have even known he spiked the ball backwards. That's why he immediately went to the referees, who then blew the whistle. If you blow the whistle before the play takes its course, there's nothing you can do about it. But back to Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin refuses to accept the personal accountability for what position he put his team in down the stretch. Up 28-27, okay, Auburn gets away with the fumble snap, right? Then Lane Kiffin had an opportunity where I counted at least 3 more times where they had the football, including a last time where they had the opportunity to score a touchdown and potentially tie the game up, or actually go for the 2-point conversion and win the game. All were poorly executed. Lane Kiffin, if he still, that's where this accountability comes in. And that's why the fans should be ashamed of themselves for continuing to say, well, Auburn won this game only because of a fumble snap. How about this? Auburn had to recover from having 6 points taken away from an obvious touchdown return for a touchdown. A kickoff return for a touchdown being called back because of, I'm talking about incidental holding. I'm talking, why was the referee even back that far? The play hit, nobody, the guy that was being quote unquote held was not going to catch Tank Bigsby. Now I could see if it was like right around the area where he was, could have tackled him. I could see it there, but way behind, a lot of stuff can happen way behind, but if it doesn't have anything to do with the outcome of the play, why call it? Because it didn't. It was not even consequential to the play. So and the funny part about it is I got to get on my anti-Gus crowd. That's one of the loudest portion of the Auburn football fan base subcultures, the I hate Gus crowd. A lot of these guys are like, man, you know what? I wish, this is the sentiment, and I really was reluctant to even talk about this because I just kind of nauseates me even talking about it. But the anti-Gus crowd was like, lose at all costs. We're trying to get this guy out of here. And a lot of the reasons why, there is an anti-Gus crowd is because, Gus, especially this particular game that's coming up, Gus has done a role in really taking the air out of the Auburn fan base when it comes to high-level relevancy. Auburn doesn't want to lose to LSU every year. They don't want to lose to Georgia every year. Hell, they want to beat these teams on the road every now and then. But for some reason, Gus has not been able to deliver this for the Auburn fan base. So now you have the anti-Gus crowd. And boy, they have been on fire on social media this week. And some of them have even been like, hey, yeah, Sean Shivers did fumble. Ole Miss should have won the game. Now we can really start the real steam to get the anti-Gus thing going, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And correct me if I'm lying. You go on social media and you can see it. I'm not making anything up. So Lane Kiffin, here's the deal. You're a good coach. You're an excellent offensive mind. What you need to work on is your situational play calling. Your play calling down the stretch in that game sucked. And the hottie toddies need to come to realization that You lost the game because you did not come through in situational play calling. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.